Thank you, everybody. I want to start by thanking Matt and the wonderful team at QCware and the team that's putting together Q2B for inviting us back again. This is our favorite conference of all of the conferences, so super excited. And today I want to talk to you about the science of success, and that's going to start by talking about some realities about our industry. Some of them will not be comfortable to hear, and talking about how we can all work together to actually build it, because I would say that right now there's not really a quantum industry, and I'll kind of try to talk about that a little bit more. We face one big challenge in this industry, and that challenge is money. It doesn't matter if you're a startup raising money to build your product, or if you're an enterprise executive trying to find money in a budget to spend on quantum. From stem to stern, money is a big issue. I've talked to this year and last over 100 enterprise CIOs, and the budgets are not millions of dollars to explore quantum. They're $25,000, $100,000, $250,000. And when I think about this, I think that the only way that we fix this is working together as a community. And I think that is probably the big message of today, because if you look at the state of our industry, we haven't moved the needle as far as many of us might think. That's reality, and I'll give some examples. Since we were here last year, there have been 89 world's first, world's most, world's greatest, 72 groundbreaking discoveries, 57 industry-leading announcements. If all of that is true, this should be an industry. There should be much larger budgets in the enterprise. There should be much more investment into the startup community. There should be much more adoption of the technologies we are all pushing. And I want to see us be successful. I want to see us as an industry grow. We have many friends at Strangeworks. We're tying together all of the quantum computing hardware and software resources. So we don't make quantum hardware. We have over 40 partners on the platform, and we love all of them. But there's not a market demand for quantum. That's a fact, whether we want it to be or not. And so, when you look at that, you look at things like Wired talking about, revolt. Scientists say they're sick of quantum computing hype, or Forbes articles talking about, is it the next frontier or a bubble? This is not the signs of a healthy, growing industry. It is common in emerging industries, which is what we are. And if you want to find physical evidence of that, you simply need to look at the investment. We did have a huge bump in investment, $2.4 billion and $2.3 billion in 2021 and 2022, but in 2023 and this year, that's cut by about half. We're halfway through the year right now. I don't see that number for this year going up much further, okay? This is going to cause for things like consolidation in the market, without a doubt. This is going to cause for some companies not to make it. I'd like to see everyone make it. I'd like to see a vibrant, healthy ecosystem. And that goes from the funding to the startups, the established players. I love hearing about partnerships like Michael just spoke about and what he's doing with IBM. We need more of this, hands down. That leads me to a really great example, which is Time Magazine. In 2014, which is the last time we saw this inflection point in funding, like we saw in the last 2 years, Time Magazine put quantum computing on the cover. It was here, it was a couple years away, and it was going to change everything. Fast forward to 2023, last year, Time Magazine put quantum computing on the cover, and it's here, it's a couple years away, and it's going to change everything. So this doesn't look well. This is not a good image for our industry, or any of the companies in it, or any of the investors in it, or any of the companies using it. But these are facts, because we work in a field of science, and science and business are not the same. They're out of alignment, and we're out of alignment with the people we want to sell to. I gave a talk in November at the Dubai Future Forum, the keynote, on a vision I have for the future of how we program computers and how we interact with them. And in it, I talked about how, if you think about the 8 billion people on this planet, only if you're liberally, just absolutely crazy adding everybody you can count, 0.1% are scientists or researchers or involved in the scientific process. Meaning that if we are saying this is a science-heavy product and we are selling to other scientists, we have not a very total addressable market to address, right? 0.01% of the population can utilize these tools. Now, this is natural in the emergence of a new market, okay? This is not a doomsday speech, but a reality about where we're at and how we can work together to move further and faster. I think of subject matter experts in businesses. I think of all the experiences we have with customers where we take the wonderful technologies from all of you, our hardware provider partners, all of our software provider partners, and we deliver it to some of the biggest customers in the world, and after a month or so, they need help with it. They need a Deloitte, they need a McKinsey, they need a EY, they need someone, Accenture, to help them out with this. Why is that? That limits the scope of our market. It limits us the ability to scale within a business to, as they say in the startup world, land and expand with our companies. It's a problem. It's a very big problem. This comes back to quantum being science. And what I'd like to do today is to get you to think about converting that and starting a movement of getting everyone to be sci-curious, more curious about science in these enterprises, in the customers we meet with, in everyone we talk to, so that we can kind of bridge this gap and try to get us in sync with the people we want to sell to. The reason that we're stuck is that nobody thinks science is business. They think science is a research project. It sounds like something that you do and experiment and it's fanciful and dreamy. I don't take science, if I'm an enterprise CIO, and deploy it in my business to achieve a financial result, to cut costs out of the business, to increase revenues, to optimize the performance. And this is what we all need to address. This is what we need to change with every customer we talk to. And that may mean in cases we have something and maybe we can't provide it to them, maybe we can't do it, and we have all these partners, and we have you do it, and we collaborate. Because building an ecosystem is a collaborative process, right? And it's very, very important that we really work on this ecosystem. It's devastating to see the funding drop, the nationalism of quantum technologies, which is now created by a lot of the hype that has been out there, where you have import-export controls from many governments. You have companies pulling out of certain countries because of import-export controls. We're losing collaboration in this industry, not gaining it. We're going backwards, in my opinion. So we need to educate these people on science, but not on quantum mechanics. They are never, much like me, going to understand the depths of the knowledge the physicists in this room have. And there's nothing that's going to change about it. If they were going to be physicists, they would have went and got a physics degree instead of an MBA, right? This is not their world. So the world is increasingly defined by scientific advancements, and we need to make sure we're communicating those things and the practical application of those things. We need to get people to adopt a science-forward approach to staying competitive, to understand that we've moved from a world where venture capitalists were investing in Facebooks and OnlyFans and social media sites using the amazing technology that we have right now. I think this is one of the greatest times in the world to be alive. When I was growing up in tech, I'd have to take forever to get parts and learn, and now you can go on Amazon and have a server farm and find somebody to code, and AI will write code for you. It's an incredible time to be alive, and it's an incredible time to be in this industry. But we need people to adopt, this idea that science is valuable to my business and it's not a research project. It's a revenue generator. And so embracing that scientific process is crucial for the success of these companies in using that to evaluate the tools that we're trying to provide them. But everywhere I go, and I'm sure all of you have heard this, OpenAI launches ChatGPT, all of the funding shifts to AI, right? So this is yet another external effect on our business. Now, business does love AI, and that's awesome. But you know what we failed to do, and AI is also failing to do, is explain that if you're a business, AI is science in action in your business. AI is not magic, it's math. And if you're going to tell me that math is not valuable to your business, I'm going to tell you you're a fool. because math is valuable everywhere. And so when I thought about this, and we've been talking to all of these customers, and we've been working with our key customers, British Petroleum, Johnson & Johnson, companies like Raytheon and Collins Aerospace, across wide variety of industries, we discovered that quantum has two major problems that it doesn't seem anybody is really addressing. The first problem is what we call the cold start problem. This means that if I take those technologies and I send them into these companies and they don't know how to use them, they need help to get started. But they don't need help to get started. They don't just need help understanding how it works. They need help with problem formulation. They need help with the research of the problem formulation. They need help taking these things and recomposing them. They don't know where to send it once they've done that. What's an annealer? What's a superconducting circuit? You know, cold atoms, neutral atoms? This means nothing to the customers we're trying to sell. And so we need to really help them understand, you know, the results. We, as an industry, have spent the last 7 years I've been in it selling the technology, the features, if you will, and not the benefits. And we must shift this as an industry if we are to survive and if we are to grow and change the world, as I know we all want to do and we all can. So, to that effect, we are now going to announce today at Q2B Strangeworks Workflows, which is specifically addressing both problems. Now, I talked about the cold start problem. What's the second problem? 10100010011110. Any quantum scientist can look at the result that comes back from a machine and say, I know exactly what that means. You're the only ones. No business can apply that. We need subject matter experts to get an answer back that is not a numerical math answer, but an actual answer that means something. Where does the cargo go on the plane? Which plane? How do I optimize the spend of the marketing budget? What can I do with these discoveries, right? This is vitally, vitally important. And we hope Strangeworks Workflow will go to addressing not just the cold start problem, but the analysis problem we have once we get people to get the answers out of the machines. So, we thought about this, and AI is being sold as products everywhere. I have a venture fund friend who invested a lot of money in a company to do text to video. 2 weeks later, OpenAI announced Sora. They asked for all of the money back, okay? It's because AI is not a product, it's a feature. It's just software, wonderful software. They should be embedded in everything we do, but it's a feature nonetheless. And so we thought about it and we said, the first thing we need to be able to do is to make this intuitive and easy to use. We're not trying to sell to scientists, we're trying to sell to somebody who may not even understand anything about programming a computer. They have something they want to do, a task. They want to achieve a result. And so we wanted it to be easy, and we wanted to be flexible enough to work in the way that they work. It doesn't matter what we think. It doesn't matter. I'm not an expert at anything British Petroleum does. I'm not a geneticist at a company like Johnson & Johnson. They have specific requirements that they need met. And wanted to understand the context of what those requirements are, of what they're working on. You know, things like hard and soft constraints. What are they doing? Where is this information going? And that led to keeping it secure. We have to keep the intellectual property of these companies very well protected. And so we said, you know, we don't need an opt-in system. We need an opt-out system. We need a way to give them the ability to say, don't send that here, send that there. Granular control of their data and their IP. One of the biggest things I hear from customers is, oh, it's going to go across the cloud. Then they call the CISO, no problem, their Chief Information Security Officer. And the next thing you know, what could have been a few months sales cycle is a year or more. Because now they have to go learn, they have to check the inspections, where are you sending it, what have you done? Do you have SOC 2 compliance for your company? Do you have these other compliance features? These are things enterprises will demand from all of us in order to give us money to buy these products. And the last thing is, it had to have access to the world's most powerful compute. Now, did anybody notice what just happened there? Because technically that's number 90 since the last year. And Steve, if you can hand me that card, I've got the Strangeworks buzzword bingo card here. I'll just self-deprecate. Circle the world's most on there, and now it's been mentioned 90 times. Thank you, Steve. So, you know, what does this got to accelerate? These are the 4 key areas. It has to accelerate research and discovery, the problem formulation, design of the formulation in what we've discovered, the job execution, and then, as I said, the analysis. And we'd love to show you a little sneak peek of it now. First thing is, how do we uncover your next big idea? How do we drive this discovery? If you're not a scientist, you're a subject matter expert and you have an idea. And so 2 years ago at South by Southwest, we introduced hroat. And hroat is our AI system and modules, and it can teach you about quantum, and it was very simple. You know, we integrated with our friends at OpenAI and did some really cool stuff, but we promised that in a year or two, we would integrate that across all of the quantum infrastructure that we built out. And that's what we've done. So now, users are going to be able to take something like a white paper or files that they have related to a project, maybe notebooks, and they'll be able to provide them the hroat. And hroat will take those and analyze them. We'll find all other open research around that and pull it all together and relevance rank it and rate it so that you have a literature search and review, you have an easy way to paper summarization and analysis, and you can score them and understand what you might want to do. Now, that's going to help a lot, right? See this example, it says this is an aircraft loading problem. It clicks through. It says, you know, got it, creating a plan, starting with searching the web. It's going to go through and pull all this stuff. But that's only important if we take it to the next step, which is having a co-pilot for problem formulation. None of our customers know how to transfer, none of our real customers, Global 2000, Fortune 500, not science companies, which a lot of us work with, know how to formulate their problems. And so we need to give them a co-pilot for this, an automated notebook and code creation platform, something can do rapid prototyping and iteration, and most of all, something can create and organize the data sets that they're going to deploy in their project. And so that's the second thing it does, is pulls all this together, and then it can extract all of the formulas from these papers, all of the other information, and say, this is the best path, or 2 or 3 optimal paths, for you to achieve the goal you're trying to achieve with this technology. And then, of course, one of the biggest questions I get every day, all the time, is what machine do I run it on? Which one do you like? I have 44 partners. I love you all. I don't recommend machines. I don't pick winners. That is not my job. I make your technologies available to the Global 2000 companies, and may the best one win. But we get asked this question so much, we thought, are they asking for an opinion on who we think is best? Are they asking which machine is the machine that is the right architecture for me to run this problem type on? And so to that, we set up job execution, so that now you just simply ask the platform, how do I, where should I execute this? What are my options? And it'll say, no problem. Let me give you all of the options. I've looked at your work. I've looked at the notebook. I've published it. Here, in this case, it's showing some annealers. You can select the ones you want to run on that are available to you, and then you can execute it very simply, very, very easily. So automated job submission through chat, quantum, Q-inspired, and classical solvers, the whole spectrum, connecting to every Strangeworks application and piece of hardware, and offering job organization and management, which, as you know, is one of the main features of our platform, is who's using it, what are they spending, how are you managing all that process. This is something often overlooked, but every enterprise does not want you just openly firing off $2,000 processes, $4,000 processes, right? They need rules. And the final thing is that analysis. So how do we conduct analysis and results via chat? It's the same kind of procedure. You can generate graphics and visualizations, can ask anything. So it says, can you perform analysis on the result that includes a comparison of the profits for each solution? Yes, you can. And it's automated and customized report creation, because the best part is once they do this, if we want to help them get budgets to spend more money with our industry, we have to not only get them results, we have to help them document the results and communicate the results. So one of the coolest features is that hroat can now summarize into an executive summary, graphs and everything, all of the work that you've been doing. So it'll pull all of the data, pull it in, and make an executive summary. We are deploying Strangeworks workflows, which is combining AI and quantum computing to accelerate this transformation from research to revenue to our existing customers now, but we are openly inviting anyone who is interested to join the beta program. We will not be letting everyone in, but we want to get maybe 10, 20 companies that we work with, and we'll be deploying this in our next release of the platform to everyone. So thank you very much for your time. I appreciate the opportunity to speak before you.